Hi, and welcome to Hot Coffee Podcast. You're here with Layla, Camille, and Ava. We are property lawyers for our local village known as Hot Coffee. It's in Mississippi. We work for the Chamber of Commerce. This is an organization that helps businesses to thrive and be aware of the laws.
How do I get a lease on my property?
Well, a lease is a contract between an owner and a user of a property. In business lease agreements, the owner, who is the lessor, receives financial compensation, and in exchange, the tenant, or the lessee, is given the right to operate their business on the property.
Hello? Hey. Oh my god. I'm so nervous. Am I in the air?
Hi, yeah, you are on the air. What's your question?
So what are the different types of property?
Okay, so there are two different types of property, real versus personal property. So personal property is movable property. It's anything that can be subject to ownership except land. And real property is immovable property. It's land and anything attached to the land. Normally, a piece of property can be easily classified as either personal property or real property. All right, any more callers?
Well, actually, I'm in business law honors, and Ms. Hooksema taught me that there's intellectual property too. So what about that?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Intellectual property is a work or invention that is the result of creativity, such as a manuscript or a design, to which one has rights and for which one may apply for a patent, copyright, trademark, and etc.
So I'm kind of confused. If intellectual property is creative, then how do you protect it?
So in order to protect your intellectual property, usually people register for a patent. A patent is a government authority or license conferring a right or title for a set period, especially the sole right to exclude others from making, using, or selling your invention.
Before we move on, does anyone else have any questions on ownership and leasing property? Oh, and looks like we have one more caller coming in now.
Hello?
Yeah, I have a question. How do I transfer my property rights?
Actually, there's a few ways that you can transfer your property rights. The first is with a contract, and these are usually transferred, bought, or sold. But most property is acquired by purchasing. Next is a gift. That comes with three parts: intent, delivery, and acceptance. But constructive delivery is an item used in place of an actual gift. For example, if I were to give you the keys instead of giving you an actual car. Intellectual labor is the original production of property, which means that, for example, I make something myself, therefore I'm the owner. Inheritance is when it's handed down from a family member, and accession is when you have the right to all of the property that your property produces.
Okay, so now let's move on to bailments. Does anyone have any questions?
Hello?
Hi, what is a bailment?
So a bailment is basically a transfer of possession and control of personal property subject to an agreement to return it to a third party. But it has to have three legal elements. So one is delivery. You have to have possession and then control. Two is acceptance. Three is consideration. So something has to be exchanged. So I hope that helps.
Okay, so how are they created and ended?
So a bailment's like a form of a contractual relationship, even if no contract has been signed. The person receiving the property, the bailee, has possession and control over the property for a specific period of time, during which he or she is responsible to take responsible care of the property. The original owner of the property, the bailer, retains ownership interest during this time. In order for a bailment to exist and therefore be created, the bailee must have both the intent to possess the property and actual possession to the property. The bailer intends that the property will be returned to him at the end of a specified period of time, or after the purpose for which the property was given has been completed. And then to end a bailment, 1, you have time period has to be elapsed. 2, agreed purpose has been achieved. 3, the parties mutually agree to end. 4, they are destroyed or damaged, and property can end in bailments. And lastly, death or incapacity with contracts transferred to personal representative of the state.
Do we have any more questions on property?
Hello?
Hi, so I was just wondering, how do you acquire property?
Property in a multitude of ways. One of these is through a contract, transferred, bought, or sold. Most property acquired is by purchasing. You can also acquire property by gift. Gift has to do with intent, delivery, and acceptance. You can also inherit property from a family member. You can find lost or mislaid property. You can also acquire the title by taking possession of personal property that belongs to no one, or property that has been discarded. The finder becomes the owner. And lastly, causa mortis, the anticipation of death.
All right, so that's a wrap for our Hot Coffee podcast. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about crimes and torts, so join us then. Thanks.